Welcome to Mick the Mark, and we're gonna get into an old YouTube clip on Jim Cornette speaking on ECW, Paul Heyman, and New Jack, among a bunch of other things. So let's get right into it. This is an old YouTube clip. I suggest you guys. Have the link to the full video in here. I suggest you guys check it out.
ECW, Mike Giuliano, how did the heat between you and Paul Heyman begin, and how much of it was a work?
God, we could be here for a while. You know, the thing is, and I can't say that I hate Paul Heyman personally. It's nothing like Vince Russo. I would kiss Paul Heyman on the face before I would fucking be in the same room right now with Vince Russo. But and I mean,
It's wild that you hate somebody that much at his age, that you can't even be in the same room with him. Wow,
Paulie's
that's some
always had
hate.
little tricks. Like, when I quit WCW, he'd call me at my house in Charlotte every month or so, on the pretext of, how are you doing or whatever. But actually, you got them right where you want them. They'll give you anything to come back. Paul, I'm not coming back. I don't like those people that want to work for them. You got them right where you want them. Just keep it up like that. Either he thought everything was always a work, because in his mind it is, or elsewise he was checking to see. One time he even put his arm around me like this, started walking me to the door. If I were you, I wouldn't take this. He wanted to get me out of there. But
He is slick like that, though.
the thing started with me and Paul with the Gangstas thing, where I'd had the Gangstas for a year, and I came up with the gimmick when I saw them working in Atlanta for Sammy Kent and the little local promotion there, and I thought, this New Jack can talk, and Mustafa looks great. It would work on both of them. They were still real green, but it was topical. The Rodney King beating. So I thought, let's take this black tag team, supposedly from South Central LA to the fucking hills of Tennessee, and they got to get some heat. They did, unfortunately. Lesson learned as a booker. It was the wrong kind of heat. But in the process, and plus, they once, one of our local ring announcers once announced them from South Central Louisiana. They didn't,
Wow.
they weren't even watching the news, right? They didn't, and Mustafa Saeed became Mustafa Said, but
And New Jack pretty much snatched the mic and called the dude an idiot in front of everybody because, wow, South Louisiana, just wow. And he messed up Mustafa's name. Just called him whatever. Did he have a card to read off or anything? Was he just supposed to memorize all that shit? Mm-mm.
but um, but anyway, and I've told this story before, but I'll try to make it brief. They've been there for almost a year, and I gave them a 3-month notice. I said, guys, you've wrestled everybody. I ain't got nothing else to do. We're losing spot shows because, to be quite honest, a lot of the local fire departments. It wasn't they wanted to see these heels get the shit kicked out of them. They just didn't want to see these heels. They didn't want to have them in their fucking town. And somehow I became a racist because the volunteer fire department in Paintsville didn't want black guys in their fucking gym. I don't know. But anyway, so I tried Memphis, and Randy Hales wouldn't touch it because Randy's a lot more conservative than I am, and he didn't want to do that. And of course the WWE, no, we ain't gonna. We've heard that New Jack talk. We ain't gonna do that. I said they're tailor made for ECW, and I hadn't talked to my old friend Paul in a couple of years. So I called Paul trying to get.
See, back in the territory days, a lot of promoters, especially if you've done good business for them, would try not to fire you and not help you get a job. Let's send them here. Let's send them there. That's why Jim did that. He was like, I can't use them no more, and we losing shows because they're here. Look, maybe I could get them a job somewhere else. So that hence he tried Memphis. He tried the WWF. He probably already burned the bridges down at WCW by then, especially if Hurd was still running that promotion at the time. So he did what he could to find him a job. And he actually did find him one.
Trying to get him a spot in ECW, but at the same time, New Jack had evidently called and either talked to him or Todd Gordon. So the story I'm getting from Paul is, yeah, we'd like to have him. And I said, look, I'm finishing him up on July 15th or whatever it is, and I said we can shoot something on tape. We can do an angle, or I can say whatever the fuck you need. I want to get these guys a spot because they work for me. Well, at the same time, New Jack comes and says, well, Todd Gordon said he talked to Paul Lee, and if we didn't start on July 1st or whatever it was, and then we ain't never going to start. I said, well, it's not the story I got from Paul, because I said I needed you guys to finish up these big towns. You beat everybody. Now's your time. Once on the way out, wasn't going to beat them into powder, to put Tracy Smothers, Tony Anthony over, and blah, blah, blah. So I called Paul back. And I said, Paul, I'm getting conflicting shit here. I said, New Jack's saying that if they don't start July the 1st, then they'll never start. And you said I could have until the 15th, and then they can start up there. They must honor your dates. They must honor your commitments. I won't use them. I will not use them one time if they don't make all the dates that you book them for. I said, well, that's all I need to know, Paul. Right as I'm hanging up, he says, let me know if you fire them. Okay. Let me know if you fire them.
If that's true, that's some slick shit by Paul. They gotta make all your dates, even though I want them on the first. Let them make all your dates first, and then we'll use them. But hey, if you fire them, I can use them as soon as I need them. Ah.
Well, of course I fired them when they stopped showing up. They went and made the fucking date that they've been saying they were going to make for Paul, and didn't make the last 2 weeks of my dates, and Paul lied to me, and then of course I couldn't get him on the phone after that, and basically, I thought, okay, he's fucking with me. And that's also where the story came in that I owed the gangsters money, because everybody got paid on the last day of the weekend, right? So in this case,
He didn't owe him as much as Paul ended up owing him.
it was a Monday television taping. On Saturday night in Johnson City, Mustafa had not showed up, but New Jack was there. And New Jack said something about, car trouble or what. I don't know what the story was. But also, several people, including my ex-wife, heard New Jack say, well, this is the last time I'm going to be here because we're going to ECW. So Monday was television. Sunday was day off. So Monday everybody was going to get paid. So somewhere the gangsters took draws in cash every night anyway. So it wasn't no big amount of money. I owed each of them $100 for Saturday night or whatever. Right? I owed New Jack $100. I owed Mustafa $100 for Friday night. Whatever the fuck it was. The point is, I wrote him out of TV on Monday. And then New Jack shows up, still no Mustafa, and I would have figured it'd been the other way around if I was a betting man. I said, New Jack, why are you here? He said, well, I'm booked. I said, well, you ain't booked anymore because you told several people, including my wife, that you weren't going to be here. Oh, I didn't say that. I said, well, look, Jack, just be honest. If she says that you squat down in the parking lot and shit a live chicken, I'm gonna believe her rather than you. So I wrote you out to pay for Saturday night.
Oh, shit.
I paid him for coming to TV $100. And Mustafa, I ain't gonna give Mustafa's money. I said, if Mustafa ever wants to fucking come get this fucking $100, he'd come. Right? That's the last time I ever saw him until they walked in on me and the deal, But then New Jack started cutting promos on me on ECW television. And I was hot at him because I gave him a chance. I put him in the ring with The Undertaker. I put him in the ring with a lot of top guys. I gave him the biggest payoffs that they'd ever had in the business. More than $100 a night for the big shows. But at the same time, I was hot at Paul Lee because why is he working this fucking angle? ECW and Smoky Mountain are never going to have anything going on because it wouldn't fucking work. We're not going to do an invasion angle, nor are they coming down here. Two different styles, two different territories. What the fuck? Why? It just Paul Lee was getting jollies from letting the guy knock me. So that was the start of, and then I worked with Paul when they were punishing him when he was in the WWE in 2005. They sent him down to Louisville to go to OVW because they knew that was punishment for him because he'd rather be in New York. Whereas the punishment for me was the opposite way around. I wanted to be in Louisville instead of New York, so they were fucking with me in that way, but they were fucking with him. So we commiserated on that. But the problem is Paul is a pathological liar, and I said at the time he'd rather climb a tree and tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. And he hated that, but it's true. Candido and Tammy went in a hole financially on his say-so. A lot of guys did. He fucked up a lot of people's lives with not just telling them the truth. There's the famous Bubba Ray Dudley story about the FedEx.
Yeah, this dude is really funny. He said he believed his wife if he told him that you shit out of life chicken. Jim Cornette has a lot of sayings like that. Like he says a lot of wild shit if you just listen to him. This shit, like, where does he come up with all of this shit that he says?
Bubba is promoting one of the New York
This
towns.
is some dirty shit Paul did right here too.
And he needs like out of posters, tickets, promotional material, or whatever. He calls Paul. Paul, where is this shit? Oh, I got the FedEx tracking number right here. It's 472-654-651. Bubba says, Paul, that's one too many numbers. I'll just knock the last one off. No, and he stood Brian Hildebrand desperately. Mark Curtis, who I can't say a bad thing for him, and knew him for 20 years. Everybody loved Brian. He wanted to referee for ECW. That's before he got, after Smoky Mountain closed, before he got the WCW spot, because all the guys liked him so much. He actually was promised a date, and his plane ticket never showed up. So he called Paul. Paul said, oh, it'll be at the airport. He drove from Morristown 50 miles to the fucking Knoxville airport. No ticket. Call Paul. Wait, just call me right back. He calls him back in 10 minutes. Answer machine. Never could get him again. Never could get him again. Standing there. You know, he stood Brian up. Just did a lot of shit like that. Just tell the people the truth, Paul, just once. That's all. We would have never had these issues. But now one of these days, you and me, on pay-per-view, it'll be a big, I might even work with you.
They already did that. It was a wild ass tuxedo match. The shit was horrible to watch. These two try to work in the ring. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys on this Thursday morning a little James E. Cornette. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here as I've fallen off. Well, I guess I'm gone for now. Peace out.